more countries detect the Omicron variant of the coronavirus, prompting nations to reconsider plans for international travel as they scramble to avert an outbreak. The World Health Organization warns it will take days to several weeks for scientists to determine how severe this new variant is. Potentially more contagious than previous variants, Omicron has now been detected in Australia, Belgium, Botswana, Britain, Canada, Denmark, France, Germany, Hong Kong, Israel, Italy, the Netherlands, and South Africa. Omicron was first reported in South Africa. Symptoms of Omicron are so far mild and can be treated at home, according to one of the South African doctors who were first to suspect a different variant. Philippine pandemic officials on Sunday, November 28, decided to expand the country's travel ban. The ban now covers not only South Africa and several other African countries, but also European countries where the variant has been found. No case of the Omicron variant have been detected so far in the Philippines. But as fear on the Omicron variant grows, the government mounts a 3-day nationwide vaccine drive to reach its vaccination targets by the end of 2021. Over 160,000 volunteers across 11,000 vaccination centers are mobilized to give 38 million COVID-19 vaccine doses to 15 million people from Monday, November 29 to Wednesday, December 1. Groups expressed dismay over Vice President Leni Robredo's position supporting the anti-insurgency mandate of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict or NTF-ELCAC. She says careless red tagging has placed the task force in a bad light. Robredo previously pushed to abolish the NTF-ELCAC. On Saturday, November 27, groups say they are disappointed with Robredo and ask her to talk to the victims of human rights violations in reassessing her stance. Makabayan chairperson and senatorial hopeful Neri Colmenares says Robredo's seeming turnaround is worrisome. Colmenares tells Robredo the problem with NTF-ELCAC cannot be merely attributed to its careless members. He says it's a systemic policy that harasses and attacks anyone who is critical of the administration. Human rights group Karapatan also says the careless statements by the task force's members are only a minuscule part of the problem. Ibon Foundation Executive Director Sonny Africa also disagrees with Robredo. In a tweet, Africa says Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade and Undersecretary Lorin Badoy weren't just being careless. They were doing exactly what the NTF-ELCAC was created to do, vilify anyone who didn't fit with the government's small-minded view of critical dissenters. In a joint statement, Labor bets for Senate Sonny Matula, Elmer Labog, and Colmenares asked Robredo to reconsider her position. Robredo's spokesperson Barry Gutierrez later clarifies the Vice President still wants NTF-ELCAC to be abolished, but this was not apparent in her Friday statement.
Need more context, clarity, and perspective? Get the full picture with Rappler Plus. With exclusive content and events, you'll get an opportunity to discuss issues with reporters, experts, and featured guests while helping Rappler continue its fearless journalism. Join now.
Pharmally executives Mohit Dargani and Lincoln Ong are now detained for failing to cooperate in the ongoing Senate probe into their pandemic deals with the government. Dargani and Ong on Monday, November 29 are brought to the Pasay City Jail where they will be assigned to a cell with other inmates. Bureau of Jail Management and Penology spokesperson Xavier Solda says there will be no special treatment for Dargani and Ong. During the last hearing on Friday, November 26, senators gave Ong, Dargani, and Dargani's sister Twinkle an ultimatum. Find Pharmally's financial documents by Saturday, November 27, or the standing order to send them to jail would push through. By Saturday evening, November 27, Senator Richard Gordon and Senate President Tito Soto signed the commitment order for Dargani and Ong's transfer to the Pasay City Jail. Twinkle, who is suffering from mental health issues, will remain detained at the Senate. Senators also uncovered that the Darganis and Ong did not file the proper income tax returns for several years. Former presidential spokesperson and senatorial hopeful Harry Roque endorses the presidential bid of Bongbong Marcos. In a letter to the camp of Marcos and running mate Sara Duterte, Roque expresses his desire to accept an invite to be a guest candidate of their slate. The following day, Roque joins Marcos and Duterte in Cebu City for a regional meet of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines. Roque's turnaround is just the latest of many. The self-proclaimed human rights lawyer once took part in efforts to institutionalize the indemnification of victims of Marcos's martial law. As a representative of Kabayan Party List, Roque filed House Bill 226 that sought to make permanent the Human Rights Victims Claims Board. As Duterte spokesperson, Roque also acknowledged that there are decisions affirming that there were grave human rights violations committed during the Marcos regime. Roque was also once described as an activist during Marcos years by one of his law professors. Roque has not responded to Rappler's question on how he can reconcile this past with his decision to join the Marcos late. Roque's official Facebook page also deleted a post from April 2016 showing him speaking at the University of the Philippines forum called Never Again, Never Forget, Martial Law, the Academe, and the Public. Roque joining a tandem supported by former President Gloria Arroyo is also a turnaround. Roque was one of the petitioners in Supreme Court cases against Arroyo, including the landmark David versus Arroyo that declared as unconstitutional parts of her order declaring a state of emergency. Beatrice Luigi Gomez heads to Israel on Saturday, November 27 to represent the Philippines in the Miss Universe pageant. In an Instagram story, the Miss Universe Philippines 2021 title holder shares a video of herself wearing a gray ensemble as she waved the Philippine flag. The pageant will still push through on December 12 despite imposing travel restrictions to try and stave off the Omicron coronavirus variant. Israel announced it was banning foreigners from entering the country on the day Gomez left. But Israel's tourism minister Yoel Rosvosov on Sunday said participants in the Miss Universe pageant would be granted waivers while possibly undergoing PCR testing every 48 hours and other precautionary measures. Gomez made history as the first openly out member of the LGBTQ+ community to win the title.